You sure?
Good looking out. We're gonna do the intro. All right, everybody mute. Source in the building. Impromptu. You know how we do it.
Who's coming with me? It's a short shot. The source now. Taking over the game, but it don't padlock. With a better roster, sickness to play the lobster. Let the niggas hate, but revenge will never stop us. It's a short shot. The source now. Taking over the game, but it don't padlock. With a better roster, sickness to play the lobster. Let them niggas hate, but revenge will never stop us. Kill the cancer, you can call me a sick assassin. Cut the chains, you can call me LeBron James. Make a decision, but you never had me in derision. Changing the vision, but more them that cause division. For real, never in submission like I need permission. Niggas steady telling lies like a politician. Niggas need to cool it down, but we the new edition. Yes, yeah, the name is the source. Check the reinvention. For real, you think we not prepared for the fallout? Watch us stack this information.
All right, we back, y'all. Source in the building. We damn near got the whole SUC online right now. You know what I'm saying? We got the SUC online. You know what I'm saying? We got the general, tanks on the ground. You hear me? We got the Texas rattlesnake. He crushing cans on his head just like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You heard me? And we got Jihad, my brother Jihad in the building. My brother Jihad, you know what I'm saying? He the Johnny Cochran of the Holy Prophets. And we got our brother Kansu tonight. And we got a special guest. The brother calls himself EMACC. You know what I'm saying? And he been causing a lot of ruckus in the 7 branches, the academy, the source stuff click really ain't having it. And Yashar got some questions for him tonight. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to see if this brother can stand on his swear. Cause really it's finna go down.
And hold on, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know what? Just cause the homie Yashar, my motherfucking label mate, that don't mean I'm rocking with him, but I'm gonna rock with him today. I'm gonna rock with him when niggas wrong. You understand? Say, man, these crackers ain't finna mess with us, bro. Y'all got us fucked up. And I don't give a damn. Y'all can monitor this shit. Y'all can bleep it. I don't give a damn. Y'all ain't finna fuck with the homie. Get on that nigga ass, cuz.
I let us hold on real quick. The CEO gonna be on here in a minute.
I'm wide up, my bad.
Yeah, you want. All right, King Self said he wanted to be felt and heard across the galaxy. All right, so but we got Yashar here, man. Yashar really want to get at EMACC, and like I said, man, EMACC, you got to stand on your.
Tanks on the motherfucking ground, nigga. Fuck that. Tanks on the motherfucking ground.
Tanks on the ground. All right, King Self, I hear you. Let's keep it PG-13 though. I'm trying. All right, man. Yashar, EMACC, go ahead. No further ado. Get into it.
All right. Yeah, so we in this thing, man. Source up or shut up, right? You know how we do it. So having a discussion about the language and how things work according to our heritage. So it started off like this, family. This idiot tried to tell me that because of heathens, people outside of the nation of Yahshua calling us a certain thing, that's what we supposed to address ourselves by, right? And I'm trying to explain to this person, right, that whatever heathens call us is what they call us. That's how they communicate amongst each other. But when we talking amongst each other, we don't call ourselves what some heathens call us. Why would we do that? That makes absolutely no sense when we know who we are. We know our name. You see what I'm saying? But I asked this individual, stemming from that conversation this morning that we had, I asked this individual, so the languages, right? Because he liked to say that people are called by their languages. So I'm asking this individual about the Asan people, right? These are I would say you could say West African, okay, because they kind of on the coast of that, on the Gold Coast, right? Now, these people that I'm speaking about, they speak a certain language, right? And so I asked this individual, I said, well, if they indigenous to the land, shouldn't they be speaking their native language, their native tongue? This individual told me, no, they shouldn't because they was colonized by Muslims,
By
right?
Puerto Rico.
So I say, oh, well, okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, that didn't colonize the entire continent of Africa. They didn't go to every single tribe and disrupt the language.
Big facts.
So
Goddamn thanks on the
I'm
ground.
asking this individual live right now, and we're gonna see how he addressed this simple question, right? And the simple question is this, family. Since he like to say that people, nations, are called by their language, I would like to know, what is the indigenous language of the Asan people in Africa right now? And are they indigenous to Africa? That's my two questions. Can he deal with these two questions?
All right. Are you done? All right, bro. If you don't know that the Muslims that came in to that land and colonized it, those people are Hebrew people. Muslims is an organization of Hebrews because they come from Ishmael and the sons of Keturah, which comes from Abraham, which was called a Hebrew. Okay.
You got to back that shit up, right?
Relax, dude. So when you say these African tribes, if they still speak their native tongue, yes and no. Because when they did colonize it, the Muslims, they still spoke Yoruba. Before the Yoruba became Yoruba, they came from the Oyo Empire. They never lost their identity, their languages. They still have it there. They still, if you go to Benin today and you go to the capital, which is Ouida, they don't know what the hell is Judah. That's a fallacy right there. That's a logical fallacy, bro. So I don't want to hear that nonsense. Hebrew language comes from the seed of Eber, first of all, whose father is Salah. So when you came from Eber, he had a son called Peleg, which came to divide. The people was divided through Peleg. And then from there is when you have the different dialects of what you call Hebrew. It's the main branch, first of all. Hebrew is the main branch. Then from it, you have other languages from the different seeds. You have Lot. Lot's children was Moab and Ammon, right? If you go to Jordan, they still in that land and they still speak the Hebrew in that land, which would be another branch from the Hebrew from the forefathers Abraham and the forefathers Eber. So if you see the connections of the language within that land, you can see that on the tablets that they left have no archaeological evidence in West Africa, because it was the actual Muslims that was in Saudi Arabia writing what you call a bar, and you said that it's called Geechee or whatever it's called in your Niger Congo language. It's not Afro-Asiatic. So when you try to put these two things together, they don't coincide, because Afro-Asiatic is not a Niger Congo language. You got different branches called Wolof. You got different branches of these Niger Congo languages that has nothing to do with Eber. Judah was speaking Jewish. They speak Yehudi. The Aramaic spoke the seed of Aram. So these languages was named after their father, which would do through an eponymous word. It was named after places of the geographical location are named after their parents, after their fathers. That's how you get these lands, the land of Canaan, and Canaan spoke the tongue of Cain. So I don't want to hear that, and I digress on premise.
Man, F that, you saw.
Hold on, hold
You
on.
saw.
I got it.
Get
I got
on
it.
that boy
I got it.
tail,
I got it.
man.
I got it. Now, we, like I said, family, we gonna sit back and we gonna see how he addressed two simple questions. He didn't touch not a nary question. He went into this whole spiel about Abraham, what Abraham was called, right? So this is what I'm about to do for the family right now, right? With my twins, right? Taking care of them and taking care of this, right? The Most High's business. Check this out. So let me put my camera on first off.
You're done. You're scared. You're stuttering.
Back. Okay. Let's take it back. Let's go back here. Get out of that. Let's get to the camera. Oh, okay. Show my screen, please, bro.
Put my camera on with my brother, man.
Show my screen, please.
You gotta share.
Now this
let me
brother.
share.
Now this dude just said that the language Yehudi is basically the mother language of all these other languages: Aram, Greek, Canaan. No, matter of fact, he didn't even say that was a Canaanite language. He said Canaan speaks the language of Cain. That's what this dude just said, right? So we're gonna do this. We're gonna get off into what it actually is, where it all comes from, what was first, and where it all stems from, right? So let's deal with the letter Tet. Tet, right? We're gonna deal with Tet, right? Now, let's go down. As we see a tree, a language tree. And as we see at the top, what it says what? Ancient Shemitic, or as they would say, Semitic. Then what does it go down to? Oh, it branches off into two languages or dialects of the Shemitic language, which would be Canaanite and Hebrew. And look, it's around the same time. So how, first off, is the Canaanite language from Cain? False teaching, false doctrine. Where he get it from? He's going to show us where he got that information from, right, EMACC? Because that's what we do over here. We source up or we shut the hell up. Okay.
You got it as gas. That's what
right. So we're gonna wait for EMACC to respond to this information by showing us that the actual language of the Canaanites come from Canaan, right? Or excuse me, from Cain. He's going to show us this. So now we coming down. What we see Phoenician. We see what's that? Southern what? Arabian. What else do we see? We see Greek. We see Aramaic, Punic, Hebrew again, Hebrew. Then we even get down to Greek again, Latin, Aramaic, Arabic, Samaritan, all these languages, family. I don't see Cain nowhere. When I go back to the mother language or the father language, it says ancient Shemitic. And like I say, the pale skin like to say Sim. I don't know who the hell Sim is, but we're going to call him by his rightful title, ancient Shemitic, as our grandfather Shem is named, right? Right? So I'm showing you the falsehoods of a heathen that tries to teach and speak about something that he would never understand unless he learns it from us. But because his head is so puffed up, like his ancestors, he think that he's the authority. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to deflect. He's going to scramble, run around, and have an excuse on why he has no source to back up anything that he said, right? And so now, like I stated earlier, now I was just dealing with that concerning the language, right? So getting back to what he said earlier about Abraham. Again, family, heathens, Egyptians, Samaritans, anybody outside of Yahshua is a heathen, okay? They don't have no authority on who we are by title nor name. So whatever they call us outside of our name, which is how we address each other, by name, not by language, right? So I'm not going to go to my brother Yeshua and say, hey, what's going on, Yehudi? And that's our language. No, we already know that Yehudi is not the language of our people. That would be a dialect that the 4 tribes spoke. Why? Because of the dialect. So then the 6th child of Yakub, when he speaks the Shemitic language that the heathens call Hebrew, it's going to have maybe a little different, little something to it, accent, little twist to it, because why? They're not in the same area. We're talking about them as a nation, not them as the 12 patriarchs. I'm not talking about them specifically when they lived and grew up amongst each other and they speaking the same, talking the same, everything sound the same. I'm not talking about then. You got to think on a broader scale. Don't be simple in what I'm saying. Understand that I'm talking about them now growing as a tribe, a major tribe in their part of the land that they was given. Now, while they're here in the north of Yahshua, and then you have those that's in the south, the dialect, the accent is going to be a little different. But it's going to be the same language, fam. The same language. But then when you got a whole nother people like the Canaanites, right? Actually speaking a Shemitic language when they should be actually speaking the language of their father, which would be a Kemetic language. Father's name is Cam. So, of course, they would be speaking the Kemetic language because they speak the language of their father. Why is Canaan speaking the language of his uncle? Is it because he's in the land of his uncle and not supposed to be in that land? He should be somewhere else speaking another language. You shouldn't be speaking a Shemitic language, family. You see what I'm saying? According to the scriptures, that land wasn't their land. This is why the Most High gave us our land back. The land that his land that he gave to his people. This is why he told Moses, you can't go. If it was just anybody's land and not the land of the Most High, Moses could have did what he wanted to do. But when you're dealing with our power and you understand how our power moves, when he say something, he mean it. When he say you can't go, you can't go. If he tell you you're spittle, trust and believe you're spittle. So with that being said, EMACC, source up or shut up, kid. Show and prove, according to what you just said about the language of the Canaanites, being the language of Canaan, or excuse me, of Cain. It's recorded, kid. Everybody on the panel heard you say it. So I'm going to make you stand on this foolishness. Like I told you, I'm exposing you today, kid. You run your mouth too much with no understanding, and you think that we clowns over here in the source as Yahshua, as a nation, and even my heretic brothers. Yeah, we all rock together, as you see. There's no separation. There's no division here. No matter what you say, no matter how you move. So, with that being said, source up on this Canaanite information. I yield the mic.
All right, so EMACC, man, you got a rebuttal?
Body bag. Body bag.
Okay, I could go now.
Go ahead, you got it. The floor is yours.
Okay, so this guy said a lot of things. So I'm gonna deal with the things he said in this rebuttal slash whatever round, however you guys do it. But I'm gonna rebuttal this right quick. So he says, source up or shut up. Okay, so the source that he used is my master teacher. The source that he used is called Jeff Benner. It's the author. And then within that book, it does not coexist with the things that he's saying. So he took my master teacher book, misrepresented it, and then twisted with his rhetoric so he could give you a certain influence, which is a spell, so it could look good and you know, assert himself as a whatever he thinks he is. Second, he's a coon. And I'm gonna say he's a coon because
Yashu, take me off the screen, bro, while he talking.
All right. Because my opponent, he does not accept that he's sub-Saharan and the African American people are related to the people where they were taken from West Africa. So he rejects his black side. So that's what it was usually what a coon does. They reject what the black people do. They reject the black, the original black. So now let's get back to the information. So he went and said that the Hebrew language is not dealing with Cain and blah, blah, blah. So let's go to the book of Isaiah right here. And let's go to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 18. It says, in that day, 5 of Egypt's cities will follow the Lord of the heavens armies. They will even begin to speak Hebrew, the language of Canaan. One of these cities will be Heliopolis and the city of the sun. So you see there clearly that these two are interchangeable, Canaan and Hebrew. But if you're speaking about Canaan, the language of Canaan was a little different than Hebrew. Hebrew was actually different, the way that they wrote the script, and some of the words that they say were a little bit different. So you have Aramaic as well, which is a Semitic language, like he said, that is in the Saudi Arabian land. This is not dealing with people in West Africa. He still haven't shown you any connections between West African losing their tongue, having archaeological evidence within that land of his ancient ancestors that came through the transatlantic slave trade, professing that they're Hebrew Israelites and professing that they do keep all these feast days and all of these Sabbaths and all of these days of atonements, Yom Kippur. So what I want to see the connections between these, because he says in his round, he said that they know the Hebrew language, that is not changed or something, whatever he said. The authoritative one. But if you look at the One West group, when they came out, the authoritative people that taught the Church of the Ethiopians was actually the Jewish people, the Sephardic Jews and the Ashkenazi Jews. So you had to go find out the Hebrew identity through the Jewish people, which never told you were Hebrews. That came around through Abba Bivens and other people that came around, like Ariel, who made this supposedly 12 tribe chart. That's the only reason why you believe whatever you believe. How do you get the Bible in America? You got the Bible through the white man. How did you get the Bible in West Africa? You got it through the Arabians. The Quran consists of Abrahamic faith. Arabic is just a dialect of the Semitic language, which you do agree with is Semitic, but there's no connections to the Niger-Congo language, but there's a connection with the Afro-Asiatic, where you're not an Afro-Asiatic, you're not from North Africa. They did not go into those lands and took people from the transatlantic slave trade from North Africa. So when the Muslims came in, they gave them Arabic. Those Muslims, which I said earlier, the organization was held by the Arabians, who are actually Arabs, and that's how you get the language Arabic. So that whole thing right there, that he's saying that the language is not named after their fathers, is pseudo, because it is named after the language. Today we see it's called Arabic, which comes from the word Arab. So how do you say that the language is not named after the father, when you can see today that the language was named after their father, which was named after the Arabs, who was called the Ishmael and the sons Keturah in the book of Jubilees. So let's go to the book of Jubilees for a quick second, and let me prove my point, which is in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is found in Jerusalem and not in west coast of Africa. All right, let's go there for a quick second, and then I'm gonna yield my time. Because we're dealing with document text, historical documents, and we're gonna see if these things are true. So let's just put this man in a body bag, zip him up, and see if he could get him to worship his ancestors' gods like the voodoo did. Okay, let's see. Let me just fill her in for a second. Your voodoo ancestors was never taken away. You always had their languages and their script that they spoke and everything that they did. The voodoo means spirit, and
This is the Source Debate League. Sources, shut up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Right. What happened?
Now you
Like, share,
go
and
ahead.
subscribe.
Brother, who is this? Who is this that just jumped in here? Drunken, signifying what? Who's this? You're not coming in here with a name like Drunken Master. Who is this brother? Oh, this better not be who I think it is.
Nigga, what the fuck you mean? Nigga, you can't pick my motherfucking nickname, nigga. I try to put myself up. Fuck wrong with you, nigga? What's going on? Y'all done read EMACC out, bro, already.
No, you fell off.
Man.
Hey,
what I'm saying, but anyway.
Y'all see this?
But anyway, I knew that shit wasn't gonna last that long.
Come on, man.
Hey, y'all smash that like button, man.
I mean,
y'all smash that like button.
I mean, let's just be real, man. Did he really just do that, bro? He really just did that, man.
Yeah,
Like, I asked that brother to source up on the information that he was speaking about, and he just went south and just did his own thing. That's what I'm talking about, family.
And I just want to say, man, that is the part, that is what you call deflecting, right? People don't like to answer no questions, man, and have no straight up dialogue, right?
Right.
And I knew that it wasn't gonna be that.
He back.
I knew it wasn't gonna be that, but that's why I wanted to record that though. It's not gonna be no straight up dialogue.
No, they don't know how to do that, bro. It's not in their DNA.
EMACC is back in the building. You know what I'm saying? So EMACC, finish up, whatever you was finna read. You know what I'm saying? So we can progress the dialogue. If you there, can you hear me? EMACC going once, going twice.
EMACC, quit acting like you having internet difficulties, bro. Quit acting, bro. Get over here. Let your nuts hang, man.
So I guess the brother. Let me see. Hold on. EMACC, you there?
No, he's still in. Unless he left and this what's the name? Avatar.
Nah, he's still on here though. His picture's still on here, but
Nah, he bounced out.
yeah, now he just bounced off. Let's see what's up with EMACC, man. I want to see EMACC answer some questions instead of being deflecting king right now. And then, you know, he get the opportunity to ask you a question once he answer a question.
Man, he all over the place right now. Like, first we
Yeah, he
talking about
monologuing. He went into monologuing mode.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dialogue, he monologue.
Yeah, he's shooting himself in the foot to run into the Arabs. Oh, there you go, right there. EMACC, man, you there?
Yo.
All right,
Yeah, what part did you hear, bro?
It's right before you was about to read the Book of Jubilees. You fell out.
All right, perfect. So let me continue off on my rebuttal right quick. Let me see. Okay. Right now, so we're at the Book of Jubilees. We are at chapter 20, and we're going to start at verse 12. And it says, and Ishmael and his sons and the sons of Keturah and their sons went together and dwelt from Paran to the entering in of Babylon in all the land which is towards the east, facing the desert. Verse 13. And these mingled with each other, and their name was called Arabs and Ishmaelites. So from verse 13, you can see that they were called Arabs. And Arabs, it actually means mingled. So these mingled with each other and became the Arabian nation. Saudi is the family, and Arabia is the name of their nation. Now, Arabic is the same thing as Arab. The language is named after the nation Arabs. So that's how you get that Semitic tongue, Arabic. It's coming through from what the land and what the people is called. Now, when you see this Book of Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees come from the Dead Sea Scrolls, which will be the most earliest Jewish library. Now, when you look at these historical documents that they found in the caves in the Qumran, which has nothing to do with the people in West Africa, you can see that these people, Arabs, never lost their tongue, never lost their languages. But you can see that these Arabs conquered West Africa during the Islamic and the Caliphates, and you can see that clearly these people called Arabics or Arabs, in the languages they spoke, they brought it to West Africa and influenced those people that was already in that land. Okay? Hebrew is coming from the forefathers. Canaan is coming from Canaan. But since Canaan went into the land of Eber, now they took on that language and those and that culture right there. So let's go into the book. Let's go into the book of, let's see. Let's go to chapter 8 in Jubilees. And we're going to see how did that become that land, right? So let's see, how did it get the tongue Canaan? So it says, chapter 10, verse 32. Cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah by the curse by which we bound by ourselves by an oath in the presence of the holy judge and in the presence of Noah our father. Verse 33. But he did not hearken unto them and dwelt in the land of Lebanon from Hamath to the entering of Egypt, he and his sons until this day. Verse 34. And for this reason that the land is named Canaan. So that's why they spoke the language of Hebrew, which was named after Canaan, after their fathers, is because they took the land that the land was given to Hebrew, and they got a curse put upon themselves. That's how it happened, bro. Now show me the archaeological evidence in the history where your people actually had these records. And I digress my time.
He said, yo, people.
Well, where'd he go? He dropped out? I guess we lost him again. Or was that supposed to be like the mic drop?
Yeah, he said, yo, people.
That was a mic drop.
That was a mic drop?
Nah, man. He do the mic drop like he really did something.
Oh, there you go. He back. He must be. He got the R1B internet, y'all.
Did you get to hear me, bro?
Yeah.
What you mean by yo?
Yeah, you got that Nephilim internet, man.
You got that Nephilim internet.
That
What part do you hear, bro?
He on Mount Herman and shit. He on Mount Herman.
What part did you heard, J-Ship?
Okay,
when you say yo people, when you say yo,
said show where yo people had the language or something like that.
But you heard everything that I read in the Jubilees, right?
We heard every bit of it.
We heard everything.
Hey, Yashar, you want to respond to that? If not, I actually want to respond to that.
No, go ahead, bro, because that was some idiotic.
You can't respond to that, J-Ship. You gotta let him go. Respond first, and then after we can finish it. He went 2 times, right?
Yeah, I mean, y'all just having a discussion. I just wanted to chime in on what you just said.
Oh, okay, my bad. Go ahead, Matt. My bad.
I just want to bring up some evidence because when we talk about Afro-Asiatic languages, people invent languages, correct, EMACC? People are the ones who innovate languages. Languages don't just pop up into existence, right, EMACC? So I always bring you guys back to the people who created and led and spearheaded Afro-Asiatic language groups. So I'm gonna share my screen and get right to the nitty-gritty, because you make this claim that our people don't have anything to do with these language groups, but we are the ones who spearhead and spread those groups. You understand? So as you can see on my screen, this is an article from nature.com. Y chromosome E haplogroups, their distribution and implication, listen, EMACC, to the origin of Afro-Asiatic languages in pastoralism. So you can't have these two things, Afro-Asiatic languages and pastoralism, without Y chromosome E. So that means Hebrew, Arabic, all of those languages, early Egyptian, all of those languages come from Y chromosome E, brother. You understand? And we brought pastoralism into the world. And pastoralism led to civilization, which led to writing, which led to the spread of these languages. You understand me, man? This is the part that you get misconstrued. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, I'm giving glory to our genetic marker and our ancestry because I'm bringing out the truth. You're trying to give our history and our legacy to another group. This is our people's shit. Now, let me read the abstract here on nature.com. Y'all see it right there. It was published March 26, 2014. Taser Ibrahim was the one who wrote and published this. Archaeological and paleontological evidences point to East Africa as the likely area of early evolution of modern humans. Genetic studies also indicate that populations from the region often contain, but not exclusively, representatives of the more basal clades of mitochondrial and Y chromosomes phylogenies. Most Y chromosome haplogroup diversity in Africa, however, is present within the macro haplogroup E that seem to have appeared 21 to 32,000 years before present, somewhere between the Red Sea and Lake Chad. The combined analysis of 17 biallelic markers and 1,214 Y chromosomes together with cultural background of 49 populations displayed in various metrics, network, multidimensional scaling, principal component analysis, and neighbor joining plots indicate a major contribution of East African populations to the foundation of the macro haplogroup, suggesting a diversification that predates the appearance of some cultural traits and subsequent expansions that is more associated with the cultural linguistic diversity witnessed today. Now, here's the point, EMACC. You see that? The Proto-Afro-Asiatic group carrying the EP2. EP2 created E1B1A and E1B1B. These are the Proto-Asiatic groups. They carried EP2. So when you say our people don't have nothing to do with this, this is our people's legacy. We are the ones who, what does proto mean? Proto means the first, the beginning.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit, Josh. You talk your shit.
This language into fruition. We spearheaded this language that later evolved into the several language groups known as Hebrew, Canaanite, early Egyptian, so on and so forth. Right? Aramaic. You could thank our forefathers for that. So the Proto-Afro-Asiatic groups carrying EP2 mutation may have appeared at this point in time and subsequently gave rise to the different major population groups. Listen, EMACC. They gave rise to these groups, including, you see that, EMACC? See at the bottom? Speakers of the Afro-Asiatic languages and pastoralist populations. That's what it says. This is what the research is. This is called the dual inheritance theory, right? So when you make the bold claim that our people ain't got nothing to do with these languages or this culture, you got to understand that our people was dominating these regions for thousands of years and spreading culture and influencing the world. That's what you got to understand.
Talk your shit.
No book of Jubilees to prove my point. You understand? All right,
All
man.
right. Word. All right, so I guess we're gonna do this real quick. So my man Jay should start talking about EP2 and these haplogroups. All right. She said Afro-Asiatic. Now, when you look at the land of Patros, they're called Philistines. And then when you start looking at Goliath, you start looking at people who come from the seed of Mizraim. And then when you start looking at North Africans who are called Berbers, those people are from the seed of Mizraim. And then when you see the seed of Canaan going into Asia, I already proved it within the book of Jubilees. They got cursed for doing that and taking that land, right? So what my opponent, both of my opponents, or one of my opponents, Jay Shub, is saying that since the E haplomarker could be found in Israel and in the Levant area, so that proves that these Philistines and these Mizraims and these Egyptians and these North Africans and these people from Ham came into the land of Asia, conquered it, took it from the people that was already in that land. And then that's how that gene flow went inside of that area. But when you start looking at the J haplomarker, he's saying that that's Japheth. J means Japheth, and Japheth is the progenitor of the J haplomarker group. But if you look at the Ashkenazi group, they do have those alleles that do consist of the J haplomarker through the father side, yes. But the scientist says that it's interesting because those people, Ashkenazi, do not share the same DNA as the Western European. They are one beat, but these people got J haplomarkers, so obviously you can see the genetics admixture, these polymorphics that went through the alleles and transformed these people into what they are today. But through their father's seed, they were Israel, because you can see through the alleles haplomarker that they are positive J. They're not E1B1B or E1B1A, whatever this guys keep saying EP2. Now, when you look at the EP2, it goes back to the haplogroup M, which you can find in Eurasia. So that means that these people did not come from Africa, they come from Eurasia. So that would kind of conflict with what he's trying to say. Now, when he speaks of Afro-Asiatic, it's the other way around. The Asiatics influenced the North Africans with the Shemitic tongues in their culture through Mesopotamia, because you can see a more earlier Mesopotamian influence through North Africa. So it came from Asia to Africa, and that's how the Afro-Asiatic language arose, because of the Asiatics bringing the influence into the northern part of Africa, and now thus they call it Afro-Asiatic. So that's how that arose. So my opponent is using it, is showing a lot of folly towards his premise. You know what I'm saying? He got misconceptions and he got bad senses towards whatever he believes through these genetics traits. But those migrations patterns come from Asia, not from the out of Africa theory. And I digress my time.
All right.
Let me respond to him real quick. Sorry, I'm gonna give it to you. I promise you.
All right.
Okay, brother, you didn't bring no source material. This is the source. I gave you a source. I went to nature.com. I went to one of the leading geneticists on the topic, which is Muntasa Ibrahim. You gave me nothing. You keep saying what I'm doing. I just showed you what the geneticist brought forth with his research. His research says EP2 were the carriers of the Proto-Afro-Asiatic languages. You didn't respond to that. What you did was you threw a lot of red herrings out of there and distracted from the topic. Why do we see Y chromosome E dominating this area? Let me share my stream. I'm just keep hitting you with sources. I'm not going to play this game with you tonight. I'm just going to eat you up with sources. You know how I do. You know how we get down here on the source. We deal with source material. We not with that rhetoric. We all about that bang bang over here. All right. So check this out. You guys can see my stream. See, he mentioned that you think you're slick. You keep throwing haplogroup J in there. And I'm the wrong one to say that to, right? Now, so this is Natufians right here. We compile frequencies of Y chromosome haplogroups in this geographical area and their changes over time in a data set of ancient, listen, EMACC, ancient and modern Levantine populations. And note, similarly to Lazarus, that haplogroup J, listen, brother, haplogroup J was absent in all Natufian and Neolithic Levant male individuals examined thus far. Haplogroup J wasn't even in that land like that, man, and wasn't a part of the pivotal people that spread the Afro-Asiatic language, that spread pastoralism. You understand? That haplogroup is absent in all the individuals. But you keep bringing that up. It says, but emerged during the Bronze Age in Lebanon and Jordan, along with ancestry related to Iran. It's too late then at the Bronze Age, because you got the Natufians, you got haplogroup E dominating this whole area during the Epipaleolithic. That's before the Bronze Age, all the way to the Chalcolithic, the Copper era. You understand? So you keep bringing haplogroup J. That's a moot point, bro. That's a moot point. It was absent amongst all those groups, man. I got one more, Yashar. I'm going to give you this, man. I'm going to give it up, man, after this. So the dominant group in Levant since the Neolithic and the New Stone and Epipaleolithic, the Levantine populations, which he keep bringing up, which were dominated by haplogroup E. In later Bronze Age individuals, all whom belong to haplogroup J. J came later. Before that, that was my people there. That's why I keep saying I give my haplogroup the glory it deserves. Y'all keep trying to, muddy our name and sully our name. Our people did that. Our people brought forth civilization, pastoralism, and innovation and technology to the world, man. And civilization to the world. You keep trying to give it to J. They wasn't even there, man. They swagger jackers. They came in after we built, created the languages, brought forth new technology, you understand? Brought forth permanent dwellings. Because before then, everybody was hunter-gatherers. We brought pastoralism and taught people how to grow their own food, man, which was the root of civilization. That started with haplogroup E, my ancestors, bro. Not yours, mine. And with that, Yashar, you got it, man. I'm going to end it there, man. Go ahead, Yashar. Are you there, Yashar?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm here. Oh yeah, that was excellent. Excellent breakdown, bro. Doing your thing, you shoot. For real, bro. Okay, so now this brother was talking about some information about show him and some sources, right? Of my ancestors all throughout West Africa, right? Ain't that what he asked? Let me just make sure I'm clear, family. Did he ask that question?
Yeah, that's what he said, man.
Okay, so I'm going here, right? It's what we do. Like I told you, this is what we do, right? Y'all see it? What that say? Says Hebrewism of West Africa, right? By Joseph Williams, right? So let's get into it a little bit, right? And you see, I'm gonna start here, right? And I'm gonna deal with what E.D. Morrell illustrates, right? And he writes, this will, when we speak of the portion of Western Central Africa, now known as Northern Nigeria, as follows. In the course of ages, through the influence of Moorish, Shemitic, and probably pre-Shemitic Egyptian culture, fused in later times with Mohammedan law, learning, and religion, there has been evolved in the religion a civilization combining a curious mixture of Africa and the East. I wonder what people from the East is he talking about? Is he talking about some Arabs, pale skins? I think not. And I'm gonna prove that in this source, right? So let's continue to read on. And it says, and again, speaking of Kano between Bornu and Sokoto, he calls it the most interesting region in all the dark continent, where diverse races have ceaselessly intermingled, attracted there by the fertile soil and abundant pastures. Libyan, Berbers, Egyptian, and Shemitic, and the mysterious Fulani. So we see Yal Sharal in Africa, from Western Central Africa, which is, like I said, the Gold Coast, right? So that's one point. Let me prove another point. You want to know about the practices, right? These brothers in West Africa observe the new moon as the scriptures teaches us in Leviticus 23. Okay? Let me just read a little bit about what Park has to say, right? And Mungo Park, he's a traveler, right? And he traveled the interior districts of Africa, right? And this is what he had to say. Park calls attention to the resemblance that certain native marriage rites bear to the manners of the ancient Hebrews. I thought we wasn't nowhere around up in there, man. We couldn't find nothing going on. But right here it says that they observing the moon, or excuse me, they having marriage rites compared to the ancient Hebrews. And further describes at some length the natives' veneration of the new moon. That's another kill shot that we can find in Leviticus 23, as I stated. He goes on to say, the moon, by varying her form, has more attracted their attention than the sun. On the first appearance of the new moon, which they look upon as being newly created, the pagan natives. Wait a minute. The pagan natives? But why would they be called pagan natives and just not the people of Africa or by their tribes? Why are they called pagans? Or in other words, kafirs. Why are they called kafirs? Right? These are things you have to ask yourself if our practices wasn't being practiced. Because we call people by these terms, pagans and heathens, things of this nature. Because they'll be doing other things, not according to our way of living. I didn't know Africans did that. But right here, it's not talking about Africans. It's talking about Hebrews in the land of what we call Africa. But I'm going to continue to read. It says, the pagan natives, as well as the Mohammedans, say a short prayer. What? So we got pagans following the new moon and Mohammedans? But, okay, you said source up, right? Okay, this is what we doing. Okay, this is what it reads. It says, and it seems to be the only visible adoration which the pagans, the kafirs, offer up to the supreme being. So they follow that worship of acknowledging the new moon because the Most High told us to do it, and then they say, oh, okay, well, y'all supreme power told y'all to do it, so we're going to follow after y'all. Why are they following after us if our practices are not in Africa? EMACC? Because you said this. With no sources, no nothing, just your ranting and rhetoric. We expose clowns like you over here. You understand? I don't think you do, but you will by the end of the show. Let me continue to read. Its purport, as I have been assured by many different people, is to return thanks to Yahweh for his kindness through the existence of the past moon, and to solicit a continuation of his favor during that of the new moon. So when you acknowledge the new moon as the Most High directed us to, according to our laws, right? Leviticus 23. We're blessed for these things, for keeping the feast days, for acknowledging everything that he told us to acknowledge. Why are pagans and Mohammedans following us? If our practices, or we wasn't in West Africa. I'm confused at your foolishness, right? With no sources to back up anything, right? Oh, let's get into the writings, right? This is what Richard Johnson had to say, who spent part of the years.
Where can I go?
Richard Johnson, who spent part of the years 1620 and 1621 trading on the Gambia River. Do you know where Gambia River is? If not, check it out. Look it up, right? For those who don't know, it's in Africa, but he needs to actually go and do some work and figure it out, right? So this Richard Johnson is trading and doing his thing on the Gambia River. Now let's see what he finds out. Under the course of Marabucks, or religious men, says of their writing. Now he's talking about the writing that's in Africa. The characters they use being much like Hebrew, which in regard I understood not. I caused my Marabuki to write in a paper some part of their law, which I brought home. And if I'm not mistaken, his home, Richard Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, is London. Right? So he took the laws that was written in Hebrew, he found in Africa off the Gambia River, back to London. But he says that we was nowhere in West Africa. This is what EMACC just said. Right? But Mr. Johnson is saying something different. He even took our laws back. So that means that our laws was even in the land, which I brought home with me that some of our learned scholars might pursue. If we might by the means come to any better knowledge, then the small practices we have hereto had, and by men of our capacities, cannot so easily be attained. So he's even giving homage and humble himself to the greatness of our ancestors, my ancestors, excuse me. Me and my brothers that's on this panel, right? This man just took a trip trading down the Gambia River, Mr. Johnson. Gave my ancestors some major props right here. Only this much we discern, that the religion and law they teach is not right in the same tongue. Well, wait a minute. The writing that he's speaking about is in Hebrew. Well, what language are they speaking? A whole nother language? Could this be priest of Yahshua? Because it did say the religious men in the beginning of his writing. But this is what we call sourcing up over here at the source, Lil E. All right? Understand what we do here. Understand how we thoroughly wipe the flow with people like you. It don't matter your skin tone. If you being ignorant and foolish, we're going to expose that. Right? This is what we do. And this is what we're going to continue to do until the Most High call us home. Expose all foolishness and foolish. I really want to say the F-y word, but I'm going to respect the panel and I'm going to respect our platform. So let me continue to read because I only got a little bit more to go. Right? And I'm going to read all of it because I don't want nobody to say, oh, well, he didn't even finish reading, blah, blah, blah. But listen, this is what he says. He says, then the small practices we have hereto had, and by men of our capacities, cannot so easily be attained. Only this much we discern, that the religion and law they teach is not right in the same tongue. So it's not written in the same tongue that they speak. It's written in Hebrew, our language, but they speak another language. They publicly speak, and moreover, that none of the temporal people of what dignity soever are traded up to write or read or have any use of books or letters amongst them. The characters referred to are questionably Arabic, Shemitic, right? Still, the reflection of Johnson seems worth recording. So this brother, Mr. Johnson, is giving us a primary source right here concerning our laws in West Africa, in Africa, period, right? And this is the last thing that I'm going to deal with, right? And this is the Black Jews, right? This was Mr. Clark say. Mr. John Clark say this. He says, Mr. John Clark, a missionary, says the extreme south of French equatorial Africa, Olendrop speaks of Black Jews being in this part of Africa. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Why would Mr. Clark use those ugly words to identify us? Saying Black Jews. Why he just didn't say African Jews? We in Africa? Why he just didn't call us African? It would have been right on time, right? I'm confused at the ignorance of this individual who thought he could challenge me concerning my heritage and where we located and where we migrated and where we been and where we at now. This is absolutely insane. And for anybody that's listening and watching and listening tonight, please take note. Don't ever embarrass yourself like this. Again, like my brother said, this kid came to a gunfight with a water gun. That would never get you a victory over here. Source up or shut up. Source Debate League, General Yashar.
Tanks on the ground, tanks on the ground. You hear me? That's how we get it down over here. EMACC, we're going to let you go last, and we're going to open the panel up for the open discussion where everybody can chime in. Can I be heard, family?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
All right. EMACC, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to make the last remarks? Go ahead and make it now. Forever hold your peace. Go ahead.
Hey, take your shirt off the screen. Take your shirt off the screen. His shirt's still on the screen.
EMACC, so all right, I'm get EMACC, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you want to any final remarks, man? Because after this, I'm gonna open the panel up. Anybody can talk. Then we're going 30-40 minutes. So I gotta get ready for work tomorrow.
All right. I mean, I guess, but I was kind of long-winded, but okay. Okay. So I go now.
Yeah, man, you got the floor. Go.
Okay. So if I could just give me a few seconds to deal with what you said. The reason why those E markers was in that land, because I showed you in the book of Jubilees where that land was called the land of Canaan, which were Hamites. So you could differentiate from the J haplo markers and the E haplo markers. So that actually proves that the Hamites did go into the land of Asia. And that's why those Natufians consist of those North African DNA. Because if you look at the Torah and you look at the Old Testament, it says that the Palestinians were already in that land. So why was King David fighting with Goliath if Goliath is from the land of Patros, which is in Egypt, who they come from the Philistines? So I brought this out in my debate with Chris Harris, and nobody can answer me that. So like I said, you rebutted me, but you didn't rebut what the answer that I gave you. I answered your question and you claimed that I didn't answer it, which the answer was because the Philistines and the Mizraim and the Canaanites went into the land of Israel. So that's why you see the E haplo marker. But if you have to have a genetic test to show me what is your actual marker, and if you give me you got to take a test kit. I already did mine, so I already know nevertheless. So now I'm dealing with Yashar. If you look at the Sephardims, the Spanish Jews that went into West Africa, you can see that those West Africans were influenced by the Jewish people. The Jewish people, you can see that they came and taught them Judaism, which was an extension of the religion of Judah. But you think that Judah is Weda. So, I mean, how could those two things coexist if that's two different languages? Okay. So you talked about the practice of the Sabbath. I mean, you said new moon. I think that's what you said specifically. The new moon just means a new month. That's why a new month is always within its 30 days. Because the new moon just means new month in Hebrew. But you got, just because if people look at the moon to tell dates or calendars or any time, that's universal. That doesn't mean that you're a Hebrew Israelite. My phone's about to die soon. So when you start seeing those things, tell me what's the original tongue that they use to tell these dates, to tell these calendars, to tell these new moons. You're using a Hebraic way of it. You're not using a West African way of saying these things. But it's universal because we know that the Most High in the book of Genesis said that he put the moon to reign over the night. So that's universal, bro. I mean, if that means that you're a Hebrew Israelite, then you got a false belief, bro. You could go ahead and open up the panels because I mean his round was pretty long and it was just useless.
All right, I'm open. Hey, anybody want to chime in? The panel is now open. I see my brother Zion in here, Ratchet Craig here. What's up? Jihad in the building. Anybody want to chime in? Go ahead or forever hold your peace. You know what I'm saying? I felt like we about an hour and 10 minutes in the show. So anybody can come in and talk, speak your piece. Hey, but brother, before we go further, I just want to say my whole purpose and my point was to show, because the question was brought up and derived on where did these Afro-Asiatic languages come from, and we have empirical data showing that it came from EP2. You understand? Didn't come from J or any other group. It came from EP2. You know what I'm saying? That's been noted. Everybody saw the source from Muntesa Ibrahim, which is a geneticist. But anybody want to chime in? Zion, I see you.
Yeah, I do.
Right, go ahead.
I want to
Go
say
ahead.
something. Okay, I want to know if I heard him correctly. Because I know the Philistines were giants. Did he just say David come from the Philistines? Did you say that? Because if you said David come from the Philistines, and I know that the Philistines were giants, and the giants come from the Nephilim. I know David don't come from the Nephilim. But I heard you. I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I heard you said that David come from the Philistines, and I know Philistines were giants. So we need to find out the Philistines haplogroup or whatever. But did you say that, brother? Did you say David come from the Philistines? I was on mistaken.
Oh no, I didn't say no.
Okay, my bad.
He was trying to say that haplogroup E is tied to Hamites, which is completely unfounded and false. That's why I went to sources. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't come on here. Yashar went to sources. We didn't come on here having story time with brothers. We want to actually educate and enlighten the people. You understand? E could not be from the seed of Ham, because if you're going to call E Ham, who's A and B? The ancient Nilotes, who are they? The Kosain people, the Sun people, the Bush people, the Pygmy, who are they? From a biblical model, you would have to assign them as Ham if you're going to say the original inhabitants of those areas would be Ham. From a biblical standpoint, I'm not speaking to people that don't believe in the Bible, believe in the biblical model. Of course, I'm not speaking from people that's only looking at a secular vantage point. But if you're looking at the Bible from the standpoint of Genesis 9 and the flood destroying everybody and the human population being the earth being repopulated by three males, being Japheth, Ham, and Shem, how the hell are you just gonna leave A and B haplogroups out of the picture? Yeah, you also made the claim that I'm only saying this, ain't nobody else speaking up, but you also made the claim that I said that J stood for Japheth. No, I said F produced all of the Japhetic lineages. And if we going off a strictly biblical model, right? And we're adding historical context to the empirical data that we are witnessing. The Bible says, Japheth, he shall enlarge of Japheth. F lineages represent over 90% of the Earth's population. 90%. And you can confirm that ISOGG, they pretty much have the genetic database. So if I'm doing adding historical context and using empirical data to build my biblical model, I'm going to look at F as the progenitor of Japheth. And J comes from Japheth, G comes from Japheth, I comes from Japheth. All of these groups, right? Your group, your haplogroup comes from Japheth. R1b, that comes from F. And if we again, who are the early Greeks? You would say the early Greeks come from Javan. What's their haplogroup? Isn't it J? Isn't it J1?
J Shub. Yeah, so when you look at the Greeks, the Minoans, right? We know that the Minoans were named after the king, right? And then Minoan Tar just after the Taurus. Then you got the word Crete or Crete in Latin. Now, when you look at, I brought this up in my debate on solar mind vision with Chris Harris. Have you seen that debate by any chance though?
I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out because if you look at Mizraim, the son of Mizraim was called Kafor. And then you see the Kafor were called the Kapharites, which was seafarers. Now, when you look at the actual painting on the tomb, you can see the Kapharites, which come from Crete. Crete is the same word as Kafar. That's how the island became Crete, because Mizraim children were living in Crete along with Javan. They coexisted together on the same island, but they were separated. So the Minoans is the Greek side, and the Crete is the Kafur. So when you start seeing E haplomarker going to the Mediterranean, you could see a gene flow going in and out through those lands because that's where they went. Remember, Kafur is from the seed of Mizraim, which are Hamites. So you can see that frequency within that haplomarker. And when you look at the allele marker and you look at when it says the E, you can see that those people are from Hamites. That's why I brought up the Philistines and Goliath, because he was a Philistines and you could see them in that land. So I agree with you. You could see the E marker, where you said the Natufians through that period. That's why you see that.
All right. So again, you made an explanation. And again, this is for the people watching. This is a discussion that we were having off the cuff, man. But that explanation didn't have any explanatory power. What I mean by that is this: haplogroup E. We're not just saying haplogroup E is present in the land. The evidence is pointed to them curating the language, bringing in pastoralism, and creating and cultivating a place you know as the Fertile Crescent, right? People attribute that to Shem's children. They don't attribute that to Ham's children. All them attributes I just named, they never said Ham's children did any of that. As soon as we found out that our ancestors are the ones that are responsible for that, now you want to call them Ham. Nah, bro, that ain't how it worked. And them J markers again, I'm gonna show on my screen. That's the ancient Greeks, the people from Javan and Japhet. So if you have a J marker, that means you have a common male ancestor, and that common male ancestor will be Japhet if you follow in a biblical model. Period. Ain't no way around it. Let me pull my screen up, man. Let me pull it up. Let me show you real quick. I'm gonna show that we're gonna talk about this J marker, man. In the Bronze Age, right? Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. I ain't gonna be long-winded, man. This is Upedia, bro. Southwest Asians, Phoenicians. Let's keep going. Let me go to the top. Let me go to the top real quick. Look, watch. Check this out. Haplogroup J1, the same one that they claiming to be Jewish. Look, the first J1 man lived in the late Upper Paleolithic, shortly before the end of the last ice age. The oldest identified J1 sample dates comes from the Satsurbula cave in Georgia, placing the origins of J1 in all likelihood in the region around the Caucasus, Zagros, Taurus, and eastern Anatolia during the Upper Paleolithic. Like many other successful lineages from the Middle East, J1 is thought to have undergone a population expansion during the Neolithic period, found that the greatest genetic diversity of J1 haplotypes was in eastern Anatolia near Lake Van and central Kurdistan. Eastern Anatolia and Zagros Mountains are the region where the goats and sheep were first domesticated some 11,000 years ago. Estimated that J1P58 expanded 9,000, 10,000 years ago as pastoralists from the Fertile Crescent, although they did not analyze the other branches. So you got to explain to me these early people in Zagros Mountains and Taurus, why they got J markers. Because if you follow in Josephus in the biblical model, these people will all be Japhetic. I'm going to keep reading. The mountains terrain of the Caucasus, Anatolia, and modern Iran, which wasn't suitable for early cereal farming, was an ideal ground for goat and sheep herding and catalyzed propagation of J1 pastoralis. Having colonized most of Anatolia, J1 herders would have settled the mountainous regions of, you see that right there? Europe. So, brother, who was the first inhabitants of Europe from the biblical model? Who? The first inhabitants of Europe were Japhites, right? So you can't change these people's lineage. These people descend from a common male ancestor, which would be Japhet if you follow the biblical model. Most J1 Europeans belong to J17 Z1828 branch, which is also found in Anatolia in the Caucasus, but not in the Arabic countries. The Z1842 subclade of Z1828 is the most common variety in J1 in Armenia and Georgia. There are also two other minor European branches, J1 Z2223, which has been found in Anatolia and Western Europe, and J1 M365, also found bit everywhere across Western Europe. So you seeing all of this ancient gene flow that you got to answer for, man. These are Japhites. You understand? This includes the early Italics, which are the early people of Italy, the early Greeks, which we call Jawan, right? We know who they come from. They come from Japhet, brother. So you got to answer these things, man. They come from Japhet. You can't have two daddies, bro. So my question is, why do they share ancestry with these people throughout these ancient lands, which the Bible would say would have to be inhabited by Japhet? I mean, it's only one way you can come down to it, bro.
Okay, now let me say this. Now make sure you bring sources, man, because notice he ain't brought no sources the whole time he been on here. Everybody been bringing sources. He haven't brought no source. This is the source, man. Now, when you answer your next question, make sure you bring sources, brother. That's all we ask. You can just use your last to bring some sources.
Right. Frequencies of haplogroup J1 in Europe and West Asia tend to vary considerably from one regionally community to the next. The highest local percentages in Europe are found in Greece, Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal, and hardly ever exceed 5% of the population, because that's talking about modern times. But we still find it though. So you got to explain this J1, bro. I don't even know if the brother's still there. When I'm over here reading sources, I'm not seeing the string. So you got these people in West Asia, Europe, Anatolia, and Neolithic times. You know what I'm saying? Armenia. You understand? This is where they started it. So if we follow the biblical model, Japhet would have been these people going through Georgia, going through Europe, Western Europe, Anatolia. That's who these people would be, the first ones. Our ancestors wasn't doing all that trekking, man. We started off Eurasia, went into Africa, spread farming and pastoralism, just like the Bible says, and explained the Shemites doing. And we the ones who started Afro-Asiatic language groups. We the ones who did that. Not these people with J markers. You understand? Who lineages go back to Europe. You understand? Those will be Japhites, brother. If anybody else got something to say, speak or forever hold your peace.
Yeah. I just want to read this real quick. This about along the same line of what we're talking about. It says, is there such a thing as a Shemitic gene? The term Shemitic refers to a group-related language like Hebrew and Arabic, whose present-day speakers are mainly of Mediterranean, European type appearance. By Shemitic gene, therefore, is meant Caucasian gene. The problem, right, because that is a major problem. The problem with this interpretation is the Shemitic language, the Shemitic languages are part of a large family called Afro-Asiatic, whose speakers originated in East Africa, what we would call West Asia as well. Those original sub-Saharan Afro-Asiatic speakers who moved into West Asia gradually intermixed with the Aboriginal West Asians and much later European complexion people from further north. The genes of people in the Middle East today may be from the original Shemitic speakers, thought, original West Asians, or from those who came from further north. Unless one has separated the three, it is misleading to refer to any gene as being Shemitic, simply because the predominance in the Middle East among Shemitic speakers. So I brought this out just to make a point about like how this brother like to say, you know, people are called by their language. Well, no, they're not. Only the ignorant call people by their language. Those who are in the know and those who have understanding call them by their names, which is what we did. And this is why our ancestors have what we will call chronological records, right? Of people and their ancestors by name, not by language, family, but by their name, okay? So when you hear people addressing other nations of people by a language, just understand that they're ignorant, okay? Are you the mic?
Yeah, man, powerful information, brothers. Powerful information. I guess the brother phone died, man. Like I said, this was just a discussion. The brother came in, but he got that work tonight, man. You sure laid the smack down and established the law tonight on him. And that's what we do at the source, man. You got to come sourced up, clipped up, and ready to, you know what I'm saying? You can't be scared over here, man. But I applaud the brother because the brother did show up. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of brothers that be on Facebook, you know, social media talking all type of trash, but then we invite them on the show, they never come. They make all type of excuses. So at least the brother showed up. It just, you know, it ended bad for him, man. It ended real bad for the brother EMACC. You know what I'm saying? He had to learn a little, you know, a little quick little lesson for him. Let me just share one more thing. I'm done, man. I gotta get ready for work for tomorrow. And we're gonna see y'all, man. Hey, tune in Saturday. We got a debate coming on Saturday. We got the Texas Rattlesnake versus Zion from Firehouse Reasonings. So it's gonna be a classic, family.
Say, bro, on the closing, when we closing out at the end, I'm gonna be kicking a few balls, you know what I'm saying? Just cut it off whenever you get ready. Or when I get cut too much at the end. But I'm gonna bust some rhymes at the end and you close it off whenever you get ready. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
But we start giving shouts out and liking and subscribe. I'm gonna bust it down and you know, you just turn it off when you get ready. But I'm gonna be rapping till you turn.
You know what's up? Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be rapping till you turn it off though. But yeah, do your thing.
All right, so again, I'm on UPD again. This haplogroup J2, the one they say that's a Jewish marker. Look, the Minoan civilization emerged 2700 BCE. It could have been founded by colonists from the Kurarashi's culture, who would have brought bronze working with them. Modern Cretians have the highest percentage of G2A, J1, J2A, and L. These are the ancient Greeks, man. That's what the ancient Minoan culture is. Look, it says in Greece, in the highest percentage of J1, J2A, and all of Europe for that matter, the three haplogroups associated with the Kura-Araxes culture. Although little data is available at present about the deep clays in Crete or the Aegean Greece, the parts of Italy that were colonized by Ionic and Doric Greeks, notably Sicily, Calabria, Basilicata, possess substantial percentages of typical Caucasian haplogroups such as G2A, J1, and J2A, as well as considerable levels of Middle Eastern Caucasian autosomal admixture by European standards. In fact, it seems that many branches of J2A may have expanded from the South Caucasus and calculated onwards. So, look, this is all Greeks. Look, the presence of these haplogroups and admixtures in southern Italy almost certainly represents Kura-Araxes ancestry inherited from Minoan Greeks from the Aegean Islands. So all these ancient Greeks, you know what I'm saying, that started 2700 BCE, had G, J, and J2. Now, wait a minute. If you fall in the biblical model, the ancient Greeks would have came from Javon. Javon come from Japhet. And if you have these haplogroups, that mean you share a common male ancestor. Now, you can't be from Shem and Japhet, goddammit. That don't make no damn sense. So these people is from Japhet, not from Shem. And with that, man, I'm going to give it over to my brother, Jihad. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, baby. This is the Source Up and Shut Up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, commissary is necessary. This rhyme is dedicated to commissary is necessary. And the title of the rhyme is At the Point of No Return, because commissary is necessary. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Sitting in my cell thinking about reality. When I'm out the pen again, will they recapture me? Back in the city street, living like a real G. Pistol packing money, having how it have to be. Never going back and walk again without my Glock. Last time they caught me slipping, this time they gonna get popped. Crooked ass cop, steady watching a nigga hard. But instead of watching me, you better watch my boys habitual criminals, murderers, all they do, 3-time losers, and the niggas with nothing to lose, mad at the world for everything and all his work. One foot inside the penitentiary and one in the dirt. Can't walk a chalk line or got it made in the shade. Parole is like playing hopscotch with a razor blade. Another hard pill to swallow, but a nigga full. Cock back the hammer because I'm mad and I'm finna pull. So clear my fucking pad. Your ass will just get dropped. All violators be under this point or just be shot. Police line do not cross. No trespassing or I'm going to get this mouse and be forever blasted till they drop me. But I'm never folding. The shot in the head or bulletproof, I don't know to hold it. I'm getting to the point in my life when I had learned. Down back with minority, the point of no return. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, and you don't stop. Last time they caught me slipping, this time they gonna get popped. Yeah, and you don't quit. Last time they caught me slipping, this time they gonna get popped. At the point of no return with the X on my fucking back. Once that you go black, you never go back to always getting harassed, always stripped and searchlight down on your stomach. Put your face in the dirt. Be fool, don't put your ass down on the ground. When dropping that alcohol, your ass is going back to the pound. Living like a dog treated bad and never right. The dog got rabies, went mad, ready to bite. Ripping up shit like a pit when I shake and pull. 10 shots to the motherfucking app is the only cure. Death by injection, life with no parole. Too young to be locked up. Yeah, I would be too old. Nothing else matter. So what you expect to do, try to cope with society, but society won't cope with you. I came to this point in my life when I had learned. Young black minority, the point of no return. Yeah. Dum 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 dum.
Right, man. That's
yeah.
Our brother Jihad, hey, he got a show coming Sunday, right? You know what I'm saying? The Johnny Cochran of the Holy Prophets. That's his moniker. Yeah. That's his name. You hear me? So y'all tune in Sunday.
Yeah, commissary is necessary.
Right.
Sunday, by 7 o'clock, right, Josh?
Yeah, we're gonna try to be on by 7 o'clock on time. You know what I'm saying? That's the Jihad said he gonna bring the truth to the people. That's gonna be on the 13th, December 13th, around 7 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tune in, and we're gonna get busy like we always get busy. Ain't that right, Jihad?
Yeah. In this sign you shall conquer. In this sign you shall conquer. That's the title of the presentation. Sunday at 7. In this sign you shall conquer. Hey, man, we got to get some flyers out, too. What's up, man? It's going to be big, man. We finna make history, man. We is finna make history, bro. I'm telling you. We finna make history.
Right. Yeah, we're going to get the flyers made. So Saturday, you know what I'm saying? We got the debate with King Seth, the middleweight champion of the Source, versus the brother Zion, you know what I'm saying, from Firehouse Reasoning. And they topic.
Yes, sir.
That's right, man. And their topic is going to be based on Haile Selassie, right? So they're going to be arguing over Haile Selassie. The brother Zion is on the affirmative that Haile Selassie did descend from Solomon. And the brother King Seth, the middleweight champion, is arguing the negative. So y'all better, you know what I mean? Get your popcorn, come in, show your support. Subscribe to the Source Debate League on YouTube. Join the Source Debate League on the Facebook group, and we're gonna keep moving. Hit that like button. You know what I mean? SUC, we riding out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.